Hello, everybody. I am Nestor 8. I'm going to be your host for today's episode number 1, and we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence. And in today's episode, what we're going to be covering is what emotional intelligence is. And besides this question, and why is emotional intelligence important? The main reason why we are doing this podcast is because we believe that in order for you to succeed in the industry of call center, you need to master and you need to find out what is the CSR-DNA, Customer Service Representative DNA code, right? And the good thing about this is that once that you know how to code, or you know how to basically break down the code, you will have different kind of opportunities within the industry of call center, being promoted to other positions if it's the case, and you will feel more and more satisfied because from one way or another you are accomplishing, or you are getting a little bit closer to the goals or to the targets that you have set up. So let's go ahead and get started, everybody. And in today's podcast, once again, we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence, and we're starting right now, everybody. The CSR-DNA podcast. Welcome to the CSR-DNA podcast for inner growth and better job opportunities. This podcast looks to level up your professionalism, improve your performance for you to have the chance of getting higher and keep your job as long as you would like to within the call center industry. I believe that knowing your CSR DNA is a way to truly crack the code within us to be successful in this career. The CSR DNA podcast will attempt to educate and guide you through your professional journey by taking your career to the next level. I wish someone had told me this little secret before, but in real life, in real world, hard skills are not enough to succeed in the professional field. You need more than that. You'll need soft skills. And my idea is to provide you with some hints that hopefully they'll push you forward climbing the ladder of success. I'm your host, Nestor A, founder of Nesting ACC, Agents for Call Center, and welcome to the CSR DNA podcast. Let's dive into it. Alrighty, everybody. So in today's episode, we're going to be covering what is emotional intelligence, and we are about to start right now. So emotional intelligence is a way that you combine your thinking with your feelings, right? To make better quality decisions and to build authentic relationships. Why is this very important? This is very important because it will help you out to improve your relationship, not only with your supervisors, with your peers, with your coach, with your OM in the industry call center, but also with the customers. And once you understand how to control your emotions towards the decisions that you're going to be taking, it will be a lot way easier for you to be promoted, or for you to be in those top, let's say, top agents performance, right? The top agents, the truth is that in the call center industry, you are being measured every single day, every single week, every single month, meaning that they want to know how your KPI, which is the key performance indicator, are doing, in order for them to show to their clients, to the customers, hey, listen, these agents or this group of agents are doing a very good job, and that's the reason why we deserve this, or we deserve this other account. That's the main reason. The main reason is pretty much to make business. But in order for you to succeed, in order for you to reach that top, you need to know how to control your emotions. And those are the things, or this is the thing that we're going to be covering today in today's podcast, right? Emotional intelligence is how you combine your thinking, your feelings, and how to build that relationship to make authentic decisions, right? These decisions will help you out to improve as a person, will help you out to improve as a professional. The good thing about this is that you can earn, right, or how to develop your emotional intelligence by using different kind of skills and abilities that will help you out in the industry of call center. And you can gain this understanding on how to react in situations, or particularly focus on how your feelings and your emotions will impact upon your performance, right? This is something that you need to you need to pay attention, right, to your feelings. You need to pay attention to the ways that you are reacting to your environment when you are being given information about you, or about any other thing related to the things that you're doing in the industry of call centers. So most likely supervisors, OMs, coaches, those people who are already there in that position in the industry call center, we can call them successful leaders, right? And successful leaders are the most important resource for increasing productivity within the campaigns of call centers. So the key to be a really great leader is managing the emotional environment of the call centers by working with people, empowering them rather than directing. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is a set of skills and social skills that it's all about working with your emotions. This is tremendously powerful in the workplace because it will allow you to remain under control of your emotions, and will help you to make informed, conscious decisions. That's the most important part. Because, let me repeat it one more time, because it will help you to make conscious decisions that will benefit you and those you work with, instead of acting impulsively, right? Acting impulsively is not a really good thing that you need to avoid at all cost when we are talking about, or when you want to perform really, really well in the industry of call center. Alrighty, so for example, imagine the following. Imagine that a customer, right? A customer calls in, or your supervisor, or your OM, or somebody, your peers, one of your agents, one of the guys that you sit with. Let's go ahead and picture that thing. Sometimes they might say things that you might feel a little bit irritated. Alrighty, you might feel a little bit irritated. And the key right here is to know or to identify, to have this kind of self-awareness of your emotional intelligence that would allow you to stay in control of your anger, right? Because somebody said something that you didn't like in this case, right? The idea is to avoid any kind of confrontation. And I'm not saying that you should be a coward. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that sometimes when we are in this state of anger, our decisions or the things that we are going to say in that moment, they might be used against us in the future. And that's the thing. We don't want to say something today that obviously in the future will might have some kind of negative impact. That's the main reason why we're covering today this topic, emotional intelligence. So definitely, everybody, emotional intelligence is the capacity you have to understand where your anger is coming from, why your anger is there, and what you need to do to turn your anger into a positive state. And this, everybody, even though that sounds really, really simple, it sounds really easy to do, it takes time to develop that. And me personally, it took me years for me to understand all the situation. I have been in the path, I have been on the way that complaining about every single situation that happened to me in the industry of call center. When I talk to my supervisor, my OM, my coach, my peers, or that customer that made me feel angry because of something. I was a kind of irritate agent most of the time when somebody approached me or wanted to say something funny, or I didn't want to even actually hear anybody, just focus on my job. And I try to do that. But even though that I was so irritated within me, and that couldn't help me enough in order for me to, let's say, overcome this state, these feelings that you are feeling, right? So and that is emotional intelligence. One more time, is the capacity that you have to understand where your anger is coming from. And I'm not just talking about anger, so I'm talking about any other kind of feelings. And we are going to be talking today, we're going to be talking about those feelings as well. Okay. And to channel that anger, the one that you may have, and how you can turn that anger into something positive and into something helpful that will help you out enough, right? So let's put it simple, right? Emotional intelligence, in other words, it's a way of combine your thinking with your feelings. It's like making a really good decision, whether you are gonna be paying attention to your thinking, you're gonna be paying attention to your feelings. It's not only about that. It's the perfect combination of those in order for you to have better, or in order for you to take quality decisions, right? And build authentic relationship. Now, the good thing about emotional intelligence, everybody, is that obviously it is proven that it's a key indicator in many areas. This could include high performance job. I mean that you can have a better job opportunities. You can have great job satisfaction. You can be more committed to the organization that you are working for. Physically, your well-being will be much better, and your physical and mental health obviously will be just much better. Obviously, this will bring a greater impact to you, to the people around you, and to the jobs or to the kind of job that you are performing. And this is especially in for customer service representative, sales, retention, collections, any other, you name it, right? Any other position that you might find in the industry of call center, you need to know how to master your emotions, because you will be working with people, you will be working in teams, you will be working towards a goal, and sometimes people, they don't agree easily, right? You need sometimes to convince them. According to science, when there is a chance, or when there is a change, 70% of people will reject that change. Only 30% out of those 100 will say, okay, let's do it then. It's a new change. Let's go ahead and take new challenges. But 70%, which is a really high percentage, will tell you, hey, no, I don't think this is going to be really helpful. So this is where you need to work with your emotions, because you will encounter that every single moment in the industry of call center. So the best of all this, everybody, is that you can basically learn, right? You can learn how to control your emotion, how you can control your intelligence, right? And over the time, because this is not something that is going to happen from one day to the other, right? It might take some time, obviously, to develop. However, you can grow with this, and you can grow within your experience as long as you are climbing that ladder of success. So, what are the areas that you need to consider when we're talking about emotional intelligence? We're talking about leaderships, right? Leadership is one of the areas that you need to consider when talking about emotional intelligence. Besides that, communication skills, motivation, team or team working, coaching, problem solving, decision making, influencing people or persuading people as well, empathy, conflict resolution, and mindfulness. And guess what? All these skills where you can find emotional intelligence, all of them, they are fundamental for you to perform a really good task, really good job in the industry of call center. If you really want to work as a customer service representative, as a salesperson, as a retention agent, as a collection advocate, any of them, it's very important. It's very important for you to have either or these skills: leadership, communication skills, motivation, team working, coaching, problem solving, decision making, empathy, conflict resolution, and mindfulness. All of them are important, and you can develop them. That's the good thing. Now, there are people, right? There are people out there that will say that emotional intelligence is all about being nice and friendly. Okay, truth to be told, no, it's really, really far from that. Emotional intelligence is not about just being nice and friendly. It's not about that. One of the greatest thinker and philosopher one day said, anyone can become angry, and that's easy. But to be angry with the right person at the right time, for the right purpose, and the right way, that's not easy. And that philosopher was Aristotle. So training your emotion in an appropriate way and an effective way is not easy, but it's not impossible. The good thing about all of this is that we have covered today that emotional intelligence can be developed. In our second episode, we will cover how we can train our emotions. So thank you very much for tuning in today with us. And if you like what we do, it would be great to see your comments. Consider subscribing if you haven't done it yet. And it would be great for you to share this podcast among your people, among your friends, your peers, and anyone that you can consider that they need to develop their inner CSR DNA. Thank you very much for listening and watching. See you in our next episode. Bye-bye for now. The CSR-DNA podcast. Welcome to the CSR-DNA podcast for inner growth and better job opportunities. This podcast looks to level up your professionalism, improve your performance for you to have the chance of getting higher and keep your job as long as you would like to within the call center industry. I believe that knowing your CSR DNA is a way to truly crack the code within us to be successful in this career. The CSR DNA podcast will attempt to educate and guide you through your professional journey by taking your career to the next level. I wish someone had told me this little secret before, but in real life, in real world, hard skills are not enough to succeed in the professional field. You need more than that. You'll need soft skills. And my idea is to provide you with some hints that hopefully they'll push you forward climbing the ladder of success. I'm your host, Nestor A., founder of Nesting ACC, Agents for Call Center, and welcome to the CSR DNA podcast. Let's dive into it.